Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have more details to share about the first trial of the January 6th defendant, Guy Reffitt. As planned, the prosecution called Reffitt's 19-year-old son, Jackson, as a witness, and he testified for about 3 hours. So Jackson was the one who contacted the FBI even prior to January 6th, and that was because of his concerns about his father's behavior. Well, according to journalists who were in the courtroom, Reffitt began crying when Jackson took the stand. Jackson testified on Thursday, and Reffitt's son told the jury that his father sent messages to members of the family in which he talked about a new civil war and, quote, rising up and, quote, destroying the U.S. government. He also said that on December 21st, Reffitt sent a message via group chat with the family, and he said, quote, "Congress has made fatal mistakes this time. This isn't about Trump. It's much bigger. It's about our country." So Jackson wrote back and he said, quote, "I don't think Congress makes up all 80 million votes for Biden, but okay." And then his father replied and said, quote, "It's not about Trump or Biden. What comes next is about tyranny. Hold my beer and I'll show you." Reffitt also allegedly wrote, quote, "It's the government that's going to be destroyed in the fight." And then on Christmas Eve, he allegedly wrote to his son saying, quote, "What's about to happen will shock the world." And Jackson noted that his father repeatedly mentioned doing, quote, "something big." And Jackson explained that while they've always had their political differences, his father became far more extreme in 2016 after Trump's election. And then he said his father got involved with the Three Percenters, which turned him into someone who completely disregarded federal laws. And he said he had a completely warped view of the 2020 election. So it really radicalized him getting involved with that Three Percenters group. Jackson also refuted his father's defense. I mean, he really kind of drove a stake into it about the weapon that he allegedly carried onto the Capitol grounds. His son explained that when Reffitt came back from the Capitol, he was, quote, "proud and ecstatic." And he was showing the family videos of what he did that day. And Jackson confirmed that Reffitt said, quote, "This gun right here was loaded." Now that is in direct conflict. It directly contradicts what Reffitt's attorney is trying to make the jury believe, because he's saying that Reffitt carried only the disassembled makings of a gun onto Capitol grounds. So that was the first stake in his coffin. Jackson also let the jury know that his father had no plans of stopping, because Reffitt allegedly told his family that January 6th was just the beginning. And then he bragged about his actions more. And he said, quote, "I'm fine with it. I had a good time. I had a really epic point in my life. I felt so patriotic and felt like an American. I felt so good." And then people were constantly, he said, coming up to him and saying, quote, "You're such a fucking patriot. You lit the fire. I went up there to take on the Capitol Police like nobody else was doing." And remember, this is all recorded. So this isn't just his son's word against his. So they've got written documentation, and then they've got a recording that they're playing for the jury. And in another written group chat with the family, when Jackson noted that the FBI was tracking everyone down that took part in the January 6th attack, Reffitt wrote back and he said, quote, "Yep, don't care. I broke no laws."
Look who knows so much, huh?
In addition, as you probably know by now, Reffitt warned his children. He said to his son Jackson and his eldest daughter, quote, "If you turn me in, you're a traitor, and traitors get shot." When asked why he turned his father into the authorities, Jackson said that he thought it was, quote, "the best case scenario for his family." And he said, you know, better safe than sorry. And he said his father had proven to him that he wasn't just all talk. He was actually someone who was going to take action and follow through on the threats that he was making. And Jackson also said he believed that speaking out might help other families who are maybe dealing with the same situation, same circumstance. And he said, while he doesn't regret turning his father in, he did indicate it's been tough. And prosecutors also, as promised, used Reffitt's own words against him. Like I said, so much of this is in writing or it's on video or audio. They shared a text that Reffitt sent to a friend, and this was immediately after the Capitol attack, and it read, quote, "I got hit with rubber bullets and pepper sprayed. I was the first person to light the fire on the Capitol steps. We took the Capitol." Another text from Reffitt stated, quote, "Multiple clay bullets and a battle cry like in Braveheart. The insurrection began immediately after." Reffitt also clearly bought into the faux news anti-BLM propaganda, because in a conversation about January 6th, Reffitt said, quote, "They burned down our country and nothing happened to them. They had theirs. Let's show them ours." He also then allegedly told his children, quote, "Too many lines have been crossed. Too many years this has happened. We are about to rise up to the way the Constitution was written." And then prosecutors also cited an encrypted message that was sent by Reffitt, which explained his motive for going to DC. He wrote, quote, "If they won't follow the laws of the land, we have no reason to follow their laws." And then he said in another encrypted chat, quote, "Time to remove them. That's why I'm going to DC." And on the morning of January 6th, while at Trump's rally, this was prior to the attack, Reffitt was recording his own videos with his GoPro camera that he had on his helmet. And in this recording, he repeatedly stated that he and others were headed to the Capitol to drag lawmakers out of the building. And he was heard in his own videos encouraging others to also storm the Capitol. Reffitt told people around him, quote, "We're taking the Capitol after this before the day is out, dragging them out, fucking kicking and screaming." He also said, quote, "I didn't come here to play. I'm taking the Capitol. I just want to see Pelosi's head hitting every stair on the way out." Then at another point in his video, he said, quote, "I don't care if Pelosi's head is hitting every step. We'll grab them out by their ankles." And then in yet another portion of his video, he's heard saying, quote, "All right, Rocky, we got to push forward, buddy. I'm prepared to take this Capitol." So he said it. That's what he was there to do. And Reffitt was also heard identifying himself as a member of the 3%ers. And then he was talking with another man, and he told this guy, quote, "I'm packing heat and I'm going to get more heat, and I'm going into that fucking building. I'm fucking done with these motherfuckers." That's pretty clear, right? So second nail in the coffin, he now tells another person he has a weapon. He has a loaded weapon. So WUSA 9, they've been doing some excellent reporting on all of this. They noted that Reffitt incorrectly cited the Supreme Court decision, Maybury versus Madison, when he also said in the video, quote, "Maybury versus Madison gives us the right to drag every fucking one of them out of there." Prosecutors also shared a damning recording. It was a Zoom meeting, and they played this for the jury. In it, Reffitt had a meeting with other 3%er members, and they discussed everything that took place on January 6th. And in this Zoom meeting, this Zoom video, Reffitt confirmed that he said he had been hit with about 20 pepper balls, which it was more than that, according to the officer. And Reffitt told the others, quote, "I said, baby, you're going to need a bigger gun than that. They're lucky we didn't shoot them." And again, undermining his own defense, Reffitt told the other 3%ers in this Zoom meeting, quote, "I'm not trying to be arrogant, but nobody was moving forward until I took the banister. I just kept yelling, go forward, take the house." His attorney is trying to make him out to be just some guy who was there. He didn't play a major role. He wasn't leading anything. He's just a big talker. But Reffitt's recollection of his actions shows that he intended to lead the charge. And then the videos of what he did that day show that he did so. He tried to lead that charge. And in addition, in the recording that was made by Reffitt's son, he explained how close he was to Officer Kirchhoff. I talked about her last week, and she's the one that was shooting the pepper balls at him. And he talks about what he was thinking about doing to her. He tells his family, quote, "I was almost close enough to dive for her and take the gun away from her when a man came around the corner with bear spray." And the officers have said, yeah, we hit him with a shit ton of pepper balls, and he wasn't deterred because he had padding. He had a vest on, but when the only thing that stopped him was the pepper spray. And then in that same video or audio recording, with his family, he said, quote, "I came here for a reason. I didn't drive 20 fucking hours not to do what needed to be done. There's bad people in there. They're disgusting people. And that's what Antifa is crying and pissed off about.